Hello, guys. Welcome back to another week. Um, so we're gonna go over your assignment and from last week and talk about this week's assignment now. Um, so basically, your assignment last week was looking at using community or drones for community patrol, stuff like that, just general patrol purposes. Um, and you were supposed to give me your thoughts, pros and cons, possible platforms you could use with that. Um, so it's pretty. I mean, you could use just about any drone really, in a patrol aspect, a routine patrol aspect, where the drone is actually going out and looking for stuff, versus a person. Um, but some of the obviously the bigger the drone, probably the more apt it's going to be for a surveillance purpose, or not necessarily a surveillance purpose, but a patrolling, a looking out, watching over things type perspective. Um, some immediately good ones that come to mind, since we do a lot of stuff with DJI. Most of us are familiar with DJI products. I'm just going to stick with that. There's tons of other manufacturers and platforms, but specifically the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual is a good platform for patrolling because it's got a a visual camera and a FLIR thermal camera that you can switch back and forth from. A Phantom 4 Pro because the camera's good and it's easy to fly. It's not a micro drone, but it's a smaller size drone, so it's not going to be hard to store and transport. And then moving on up into the Matrice 210 series, you're going to get longer endurance and the ability to add bigger payloads, more cameras to that. So with a Matrice 210, essentially you can have three cameras on there. You could have the pilot's dedicated FPV camera. You can have like a zoom camera that goes all the way up to 30 times zoom. And you could have a FLIR on there. So you could cover a broad range of bases for in a patrolling aspect. But the use of drones for normal patrol duties can be extremely beneficial in continuing to safeguard a community against crime, as well as assist in other public safety use cases. So you've got low-cost roving platforms that can be utilized in crime-vulnerable areas to observe and report suspicious and criminal activities, reduce public contact, and be a force multiplier during staffing shortages from infected, quarantined officers, or multiple unit responses. So like the Phantom 4 Pro, that's going to be more of a lower cost platform. A Mavic, just general Mavic, is going to be a lower cost platform, but when you get into the Dual, it's going to add a couple $1,000s to the platform because of the technology with the FLIR. And then when you jump into the Matrice, it's going to add several thousand dollars to your platform. The ways these are being used is drones can be used by a single officer to patrol like a vehicle would. Or in some places have dispatch centers that will send drones out within a certain area. Or if you have like a big event going on, you might have a command center that's operating a drone. An issue with patrolling becomes flight time, flight duration, because you only have, in most cases, you have a limited amount of fuel, whether that's gas or a battery. In most cases, with the commercial aspect of drones, it's going to be a battery. But you can tether some of the drones, like the Matrice series drones can be tethered. So there's a fiber optic cable that runs from the drone down to a power supply station on the ground, whether that's an electrical outlet, a generator, hooked up to a car battery. It just depends on what type of tethering system it is, but that can provide power for a longer period of time. But that also cuts down your range as far as how far out you can go from where the drone is, because if you've got a cable attached to it, you don't want to hit anything or you're going to cause your drone to crash. So it's pretty much stationary in the air at that point once you tether it. But another tactic that you could use would be to perch the drone like a bird perches in a tree. There could be like a ledge of a building, or you could have a designated platform where you could fly the drone up to, or take the drone up to and set it down there, and then you've got basically a surveillance camera that's sitting up there, and you've got the option to fly it because it uses a lot less energy, a lot less power just sitting there recording and transmitting than it does with the rotor spinning. So with the drones in a patrol aspect, community reported incidents can be responded to more rapidly. You can size up incidents quicker because you can get a literal bigger picture. Looking for outside agitators or anything like that when you're coming in. And then also, if you have the drone up there going to an area, you can determine if you're going to need more people to come out, or if you can cancel some of the people that are coming out to deal with whatever situation it is. Also, using drones in a patrol aspect, you could be looking for people that are distressed. Maybe they collapse from exhaustion or hypoxia, from some of the pneumonic symptoms that arise that are related to COVID-19. There could be somebody out drowning at the beach, and the lifeguard station is running a drone, and then they'll be able to diagnose it quicker than a lifeguard sitting on a stand surrounded by a ton of people will. And there's also the option of, if you have the equipment, of being able to drop a life-saving preserver to that person, personal flotation device out to that person that's having trouble swimming in an emergency situation. So that's kind of a rundown on the assignment in some ways. Pros for using drones in a patrol approach are the potential for no contact patrol. You've got reduced fuel usage, reduced manpower usage, reduced community anxiety, heightened situational awareness. But the cons are regulatory environments such as beyond visual line of sight flight. Because let's be honest, if you're patrolling, you've got to be able to see the drone. And I mean, if we're going to be looking at the drone while we're flying it, we could probably just as quickly go out somewhere. I would say probably the lifeguard scenario would probably be the best option out of this with flying in line of sight. But it is what it is. So just because you have the technology and ability to do something, I mean, I know we're pro drone because we're a drone class. And so we want to use it as much as we can in any way that we can. But just because we've got the ability to use it, just because we can hook a speaker onto our Mavic and go yell at somebody to go inside, put their mask on, whatever, doesn't necessarily mean we should do that. But there could always be a good use for it. So it just kind of depends on the situation. Life's fluid. Situations change. Things evolve. So what's not a good idea today might be a great idea tomorrow. You never really know. So that's pretty much that. Going into this week, we are looking at using live video and artificial intelligence, real-time notifications. With that, we're more or less talking about like facial recognition software, using thermal to monitor personal temperatures, thermal to determine crowd sizes in an area, based on enforcing social distancing standards and rules, so shelter in place orders. So I've got an article posted for you and a video that you can look at that uses kind of the FLIR to determine group sizes and stuff like that. So that'll be good for you to look at while you're doing this assignment. So with this one, we're gonna use drones, but I don't really need you to be specific about a drone, because with video, really all we need is a drone that does video. But there might be some additional software we need as far as the AI stuff goes, or facial recognition. We might need a thermal payload if we're going to use that, so I'll need to know that. Maybe some cons and pros. Probably how you're going to stream the video from your drone to wherever you need it to be. Just give me some insight on that. And how you're going to make your drone useful for live video. Because you're probably going to want more than just a 20-minute run on your Phantom 4 battery. You're going to need something that's going to have longer endurance. And I kind of talked about that earlier in this video with a couple ways you could do that. So part of your answers in this video. So give me some pros, cons, how you're going to do it, what you think about it, if you think it's a good idea, terrible idea, if you're kind of neutral. And then we'll go from there. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, holler at me. I hope the rest of your classes are going well. I hope you are well. If you need anything, you can always call, text, or email me. More than happy to help however I can, but I can't help if I don't know. So, until then, stay safe, and I will talk to you soon. See ya.